Okay, I really think we need an alternative party in this state and in this country. Democrats and Republicans have been in for years, and everything we have is a result of them. Nobody else. They were the only ones that they've been taking turns, taking power. And if you think the country's going, or the state is going in a good direction, then you should probably vote for them again. But if you think we can do better, then you might want to consider an alternative choice. This thing with energy, there's places, I was reading about, there's whole cities in Germany where they're totally off the grid because they've done alternative energy, solar in a big way. We could put government, private partnerships. We could put solar manufacturing places in the coal fields where we need to give the coal miners that lose their jobs first consideration for anything we can do. The CCC camp days, there was a lot of stuff that government can do and do well. This thing of just profit for private enterprises is not serving the majority of the people well. It's serving a few very well, and everybody else is suffering. So that's why I'm running with the Mountain Party, and I support the good farming practices in small businesses, collective bargaining rights. I support single-payer health care system. The high-speed internet is essential. I support the birthplace of Rivers National Monument. I oppose fracking in West Virginia. It's polluting our water. It's documented now. It's causing earthquakes in Oklahoma. It's nothing but problems. I don't even know how many problems it's going to be. And there's a better alternative with solar and wind. I'm opposed to the Atlantic Coast Pipeline because that's just going to send frack gas overseas and benefit a lot of outsiders also. It's going to do nothing for West Virginians except destroy their mountains. I totally oppose mountaintop removal of coal mining. That should be stopped immediately. Put coal miners to work until we can transition in other ways. And the corrupt government is the biggest thing. We have a system now where it's people are in year after year. They're taking care of their lodge buddies. They're taking care of the big donors, and the people just have less and less. It doesn't have to be that way. It's up to people to just, be able to find it in themselves and give somebody else a chance. And we have Charlotte Pritt running, and we have other good Mountain Party candidates. And so I ask everybody to please give us a chance and see if we can do better. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hartman.
Thank you, Scott. Okay, I'm going to enumerate what I think the agenda will look like or should look like for this coming session. I think number one, as we've all talked about this evening, I think the budget and satisfying that budget is going to be the most important thing, and we've already talked about what issues have to be addressed to try to solve that. I think somehow we've got to create good manufacturing jobs or good jobs of any kind. I think part of the problem that we have with creating good jobs, we've also got to create a good workforce. We have unemployed folks, but there's just a number of those folks who are willing to work and earn a wage. They'd rather be on some kind of a program. I think that we've got to make sure that our education system is supporting that development of workforce. I think we've got to continue to develop the natural gas industry. It could absolutely reinvent the chemical industry in West Virginia. And maybe the most important thing that hadn't been mentioned here tonight, we have a disappearing family unit in this country. And I think somehow that's a cultural problem that's very difficult to write a statute that's going to solve that problem. But somehow we have got to return some family values to our young folks today. Teachers don't know what bus a kid's going to ride to school on or where they're going to go home. Their books are somebody else, and a child has to be a genius to grow up in that environment. We'd absolutely have to work on the family unit and try to reestablish it. The drug problem that was mentioned earlier is here to stay, and I think that we absolutely have to get tough about it. We've got to have more treatment facilities. We've locked so many people up now that counties can't afford their regional jail bills, so we have to take another look. I don't think we can be soft on drugs, but we have to be smart when we start dealing with the outcome of arrests and convictions in the drug business. We got to make sure that our education system continues to grow. School teachers and state employees have not had a pay raise for a number of years, and that's obviously going to be very difficult this year. We have PIA issues that we had last year that are going to rear their ugly head again. I think again that really important to Randolph and Pocahontas County is the development of tourism and everything that comes with it. And again, I appreciate the support I've had from the folks in Randolph and Pocahontas County, and request your vote again on November the 8th.
Mr. Eisner.
As we've gone through tonight's debate, I've listened to Mr. Moore talk about his experience as a blue-collar worker. And I think that that's something that's important, and I think that's probably something that a lot of people don't know about me. I think I see the world through the eyes of a blue-collar worker. When I was 13 years old, got a paper route working for the Intermountain over in Elkins. When I was 16, I was making French fries and working the counter at McDonald's, and was fortunate enough to get a job at Kmart, where they treated me very well, and similar to Mr. Moore, I worked in a retail setting for 10 years. I didn't have parents that had the financial ability to pay for me to go to college. I didn't have parents that had ever been to college themselves. So it was a struggle for me to make it 5 years through college and 3 years through law school to get where I was at. Spent a lot of days, cleaning the bathrooms, and a lot of days emptying the trash, and racked up a whole lot of student loans to try to, live the American dream that I think that we all strive for in this life. And then I got out of law school, and I got a job in Charleston at one of these big buildings, up on one of the top floors, who represented big companies and paid a nice salary. But it just wasn't for me. I wasn't even sure I really wanted to be a lawyer anymore at that point. So I took a chance, and I came back to Randolph County, where I was born, where I was raised, and where I spent most of my life. And I came back here to represent the little guy. If you take a look at my practice and what I do on a day-to-day basis, I don't represent big companies. I represent, the little guy. I made that choice in my own life at great risk, at great financial risk, to come back to this area to fight for people that I cared about, to fight for people I have known in my community for my entire lifetime, and to fight for the little guy. Because in my mind, no matter what I do in this life, I'll always be the little guy. So as you take a look at this election and you're choosing your candidate, I'd like you to take a look at who you think can do this job, who can fight for the values of Randolph and Pocahontas County for the next 2 years, who can bring jobs back to this area, do all the things we've all talked about needing to do here tonight. And I want you to choose somebody who has that background, education, and experience, who has lived the American dream, who has chosen to fight for the little guy in their own life and career, and will choose to fight for you if you give me the opportunity to serve as your delegate.